Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I've had some really interesting questions and comments lately on some of my videos, and a question I had recently from somebody was via Telegram, and they must have seen, I often share like my videos and stuff on there, so they've probably seen something about Reiki. So they asked me a question about Reiki, and it was one of them questions I just thought, oh, here we go again. And everyone's got their own beliefs on Reiki and what it is, but this question was, is Reiki one of those new age things, one of them new age practices, because a lot of those new age practices are now deemed as demonic and satanic and all that sort of stuff, and should we really be practicing Reiki? So here we go. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about Reiki today. I did a poll recently on my channel with regards to what you guys want to see more of on the channel. You want to see more stuff about Reiki. That's what the votes are saying, as well as having meditation and hypnosis. So, but the main things people want to hear about is Reiki. So here we go. Reiki. Is it new age? No, it's not. In fact, Reiki has been used by thousands of years. Reiki itself, it's been named Reiki because it was refound by a Japanese Buddhist monk, Mikao Usui, in Japan. That's the only reason it's been renamed Reiki and what we come to know now as Reiki. And it started being more heavily utilized from the 1980s onwards because of Mrs. Takata that brought it to the West from Hawaii. But Reiki itself, when Mikao Usui was going on his quest for knowledge of trying to discover how the Buddha used energy, how Jesus was able to use energy and heal, looking into all these avatars that have sort of popped up throughout history to bring teachings, to bring wisdom, to bring divine knowledge, divine growth to people, and that was one of the things that Mikao Usui wanted to find out. He wanted to find out, well, how did they do this stuff? How did they bring around this ability to facilitate healing into themselves and into the world that was around them? And the findings basically show that the only time really how we can pass on the healing is by finding the peace within ourselves. So Reiki itself is representative by the practitioner of being at peace with themselves, and then they can pass on that healing. But going back to the original question, so is Reiki new age? So obviously no, it was refound and rediscovered, but it's been used in China in another name, in another guise. A lot of Mikao Usui's studies took him to ancient China, where it was used, where the meanings behind chi, behind this life force energy that we all carry, we all have within us. It's nothing mystical, it's nothing outside. And what Reiki is here to teach us, it's here to teach us to find peace within ourselves. Once we find that peace in ourselves, that transcends outwards to the world and to others. And that's how Reiki works. That's the beautiful gift of Reiki to the world. The actual fact of hands-on healing, or distance healing, or quantum healing, or bioresonance healing, however you want to deem it or call it now. The thing is about energy healing, it's got so many different names now. It's got so many different titles and so many different umbrellas, and fundamentally it all comes down to the same thing. It all comes down to you. It all comes down to the practitioner being in harmony, finding balance, being able to grow, being able to heal, being able to do all the inner work that needs to be done to be able to pass on that healing to others, maybe to have more of a spiritual connection, a deeper intrinsic connection to your intuition. Maybe you want to use it in a more mechanical, methodical way and try and work out the physics behind it all. So there's a lot of ways you can look at it, but it is certainly not new age. And in Egypt they used it. Many of you might have heard of the practice known as Sekim. Sekim was an ancient Egyptian healing modality which is very much like Reiki. One of my friends in Redcar, she uses Sakim as one of her practices. So yeah, it's been used for thousands of years, so it's certainly not New Age. If you Google, if you really want to use Google, but if you Google New Age, Google actually tells you that the New Age concept came from like the 1970s. If we think about the 1970s, we've come out of the 1960s where everyone was like very open. They were on this journey. They were using a lot of maybe drugs and LSD and things like that, but it was opening the mind up. It was opening themselves up. Not that I'm condoning you to use that sort of stuff, but the fact that what's happened since then, from the 70s, this transcendence of energy, this change in frequency that has been happening for the last 40, 50, many years, leading up to now, people are becoming more aware of something else, because that just doesn't feel right anymore. That just doesn't add up. That just doesn't have meaning to me anymore. And that's because people's vibrations are changing. And the reason why people's vibrations are changing is because they're being more aware, they're becoming more open, and the denser reality is no longer harnessed within them. Their energy is starting to flow more freely, and they're starting to become more in tune with their divine self, and they're becoming more at a point where really they're looking more at themselves rather than following the herd. They're looking more at themselves, of how they can develop and how they can better themselves, and looking at alternative practices. So alternative practices are named alternative now because it doesn't feed a system. That's why it's called alternative. It doesn't feed a system. The system itself is satanic and dark and not very nice. So that's why we only step into it when we need to step into it. But the practices to use, so a lot of people talk about crystals. I love crystals. I love using crystals, and crystals are a very, very powerful way to awaken your energy, to heal your energy on some level. And whatever crystal you feel drawn to, what you feel from the crystal, it's giving something to you. And again, people go more into meditation. Is that a New Age practice? No, it's been used by Tibetan monks, Buddhist monks, again, for thousands and thousands of years. And this practice of just sitting still, being quiet, quieting the mind, focusing on the breath, and just going deeper within yourself, it's not New Age. It's actually something that should be taught in every single school, and everyone should be aware of it, and everyone should meditate every single day. Not everyone's going to, because they're so wrapped up in the three-dimensional, they're so wrapped up in the consumerism, they're so wrapped up in the stress, they're so wrapped up in work. This must happen this way, I need to do that, I need to get that done by that time, I need to go here, I need to go there. So really, these practices that are deemed as alternative are actually a way forward from being trapped within the body, being trapped within the mind. So Reiki is not New Age. Is Reiki demonic? No, it is not. I get a lot of comments on my shorts videos, on some of my long form videos where I do Reiki healing and stuff like that on the videos. And a lot of the comments is like, turn to Jesus, he's the only one that can save you, don't practice that, it's demonic, it's dark, you're inviting this, that and the other in. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. It's not. If the concept of Reiki is about peace, it's about finding peace. So if we deem demonic entities and demons and this negativity as being angry and hostile and trying to rip people's lives apart, then why does Reiki promote peace? Why does Reiki promote stillness? Why does Reiki give us the teachings to let go, to find peace within ourselves? Again, part of the system which is connected to religions, religious beliefs and what have you, is again, is against all this stuff because that doesn't pay the church. People stepping back into their divine sovereignty, their divine self, is not sending the money to where the system wants it to go. It's not sending the money to places where the system feels people need to follow. People need to be herded. People need to be kept in a box, in the box of the mind, in the box of the self, contained, follow people around in groups, do that, and not step out of line. Not step out and step into your own sovereignty or your own divine wisdom. Woe betide you do that. You will be deemed as silly, as stupid, as he's crazy, he's out there. He must work with demonic entities and all this sort of stuff. He's not fitting in with the crowd anymore. Really? I think it's the other way around, really. So it is not demonic. It is focusing on stillness and peace and harmony. Harmony for the self, harmony for the mind, harmony for the body, harmony for your energy, harmony for your brothers and sisters that are out in the world, and sending healing to all of those. A lot of people talk about meditation being demonic and dark. I've spoken to many religious people that talk about meditation, about being negative and demonic. And a few people I've spoken to where I've been in places of work and they've had issues with their health, with blood pressure, anxious thoughts, not being able to calm down. And I've mentioned to them, have you ever thought about doing some meditation, just sitting quiet, breathing, just stilling the mind? And no, they can't do that because it brings in the dark thoughts, it brings in dark entities, it brings in dark things. Well, actually, maybe it's an element of you that is having to be exposed to that darkness that is going on within you. A lot of that, the thought patterns, a lot of the beliefs, a lot of those structures that are within you are actually creating probably a lot of those dark thoughts, a lot of those dark beliefs. So maybe try something different, because obviously the practice that you're using currently isn't working for you. And you're having to be doped up on various types of medication to do whatever it needs to do. So no, it's not demonic, it's not dark, it is of high vibrational energy. And the reason why it is of high vibration energy is because the practitioner themselves has gone through the attunement process, learned the practices, learned the philosophy behind Reiki, learned the Reiki precepts, learned the different methods of self-healing, hands-on healing, finding that way of being able to find that light within that shines, that ever-present light of consciousness, that stillness, that soul, that presence that everybody has and everybody carries. And the more we hold on to the three-dimensional stuff, the more we hold on to the consumerism, the mass stuff, the stuff that we really don't need on an energetic spiritual level, that is kind of like, it's creating a barrier, and it's shielding you from where you need to go. It's shielding you from that place within. And that is where we need to go, and that is what Reiki teaches us. And a lot of my clients will say, well, how many Reiki sessions will I need, to be able to sort this out or sort that out, whatever they might have going on. Well, but what you have going on, this physical ailment or whatever it might be, could be a manifestation of multiple things. So how long's a piece of string? You need to give your mind and your body time to sort itself out. And the only real way that it sorts itself out is by finding peace and stillness, and stopping and letting go and listening to your intuition and tuning into yourself. And it's only when we tune into ourself and our soul and our very spirit, our consciousness, when things start to rise, things start to become more aware and evident within us, that we need to just let go. And the answers will step forward, that the truth will come through. The truth always comes through to reveal itself. And that is how the Reiki helps as well. It helps on that level. It helps on many wondrous levels. So it's not dark, it's not demonic, it's not New Age, it's been used for thousands of years. It's only recently been rediscovered, but it has been practiced in many different forms and belief systems and structures throughout the world for thousands of years, for a long, long time. So it's nothing to be afraid of. That was one of the things that the comment, or that this message said, was that, should I not go near it? Should I be afraid of it? And the only thing you do there is, when you start to live in fear of something, you're then now manifesting fear within yourself. So when we talk about dark things and entities and what have you, yes, they are there. Yes, they exist. Do we give them the power? No, we don't. The more energy and focus and intention and thought that we set on that stuff, the more it invites and creates, the more energy it gives. So where the awareness and the attention goes, the energy grows. So if you focus on your inner peace, your stillness, your harmony, your love, your compassion, your love for all life, your love for the earth, and sending out all that love and those higher vibrations, that is where your life will grow. That is where you will move to. It is the natural order of the universe. It is law of attraction. If you're constantly living in fear of demons and darkness and all the other stuff that the mainstream likes to throw at us, then you're going to live in that. You're going to feed that frequency. You're going to feed the system. And the system feeds off that currency. It feeds off your very energy. And that's the clever thing about it. And that is where the teachings of Mika Usui, Reiki, and all these other wonderful practices that are under the same umbrella of energy healing, of finding harmony, of finding balance, of finding stillness, of finding compassion and love, all of those teachings are teaching us the very same thing, is to just let it go. Let it go. Stop focusing on negativity. Focus on yourself. Focus on your light. Focus on your stillness. And that is when you will truly grow. And that is only when you will truly grow. If you keep talking to yourself negatively, you're going to create negativity. If you keep calling yourself names, you're going to create that energy within you. It's an exact, whatever you put out there is like, it's a reflection of who you are. So what you put out, you're going to get back. It is that simple. It's not rocket science. So just switch the mindset. It's not New Age. It's not demonic. It is there for the betterment of everybody. And there are probably millions of Reiki practitioners around the world now that love using Reiki, know the benefits of using Reiki, and have seen the benefit in their clients. You know, many of my long-term clients that have repeat sessions week in, week out, month in, month out, you know, as soon as they stop having the Reiki, they feel a change. They feel like they're slipping back into old patterns. They feel like they're slipping back into old thought systems and beliefs. Then they restart the Reiki, and it might take 3, 4, 5 sessions to get back into that again. But once it starts charging up again, you're stepping back into yourself, back into your energy, back into your presence, back into your inner light. And that is where the truth is. That is where the light is. That is where the answers are. And you'll get a lot of people won't want to tell you that. A lot of people won't want to give you that information. They won't want to tell you to look within, to look at yourself, because it's not feeding. It's not paying for something. You know, and when I made the change, because I didn't want to take tablets anymore for mental health, and I wanted to find something new, I wanted to rediscover something that was alternative, that was different, because in my reality then, that was alternative. It wasn't something I would think I would ever be doing at 23, 24, 25-year-old, whatever it was. and then continuing that practice because I felt a change. I felt an energetic change, I felt a mental change, I felt a physiological change, I had more energy, I had more clarity. I was just more open. I was openly aware of other people. I was more openly aware of other people's energy, of what their energy was kind of like feeding me. It made me realize that I had to get away from a lot of that stuff because my frequency was starting to change. It was starting to alter. And as soon as you start doing these practices, your frequency will change. The other thing about this is, just because your frequency is changing doesn't mean you're always going to be floating around on a cloud feeling amazing. Your frequency changes and things will be pulled away from you. Things will be ripped out of your life because you don't need them. And the very teaching there again, with regards to Reiki, with regards to all of these modalities, is let go. What is happening is something that you need to be aware of. You need to just let go of it. Let it do what it needs to do. Surrender. I talk a lot about surrender, and surrendering really, really makes you see things from a whole other perspective, a whole other angle. It changes the game tenfold when you surrender. It really, really does. When you just let go, and I know we all have shit that we have to deal with. We all have stuff that goes on. Yeah, we all have it. But let it do its thing. Go through the motions, deal with the emotions, and then let it go. Surrender it. What is the point in holding on to it? Because what happens then is what happens with emotions, what happens with shock, what happens with things that you see on the TV, what happens in the media, it's like there, and it's like you see it and it's like and it gives you this shock energy. It stops your energy from flowing because it's like, oh shit, this could happen to me. This could happen to her or them or whatever, and as soon as that happens, your energy stops flowing. That's how it gets in, and it's the same with all the stuff that we carry through the fear, through the anger, through the worry, through stress, through work, through the TV, through family, through relationships, through all the things that's thrown at us every single day through devices, through media. If we allow it in and allow it to control our energy, it's going to start having an element of our consciousness. So just let it go. I went on a bit of a rant there, so I do apologise, but I think it needs to be said. I think it's getting a bit tiring now where people keep talking about this stuff, and there's a message within that as well that you really need to open your mind. You really need to open your eyes and open your mind and just be aware that there is something else than just what you've been told to believe. And that is a big message, what you've been told to believe. Start believing in yourself. That is where the change comes. Have a beautiful day. Namaste. Much love.